Mexican clown takes lives of cartel members and documents the killings. Do you have an irrational fear of clowns? If not, you may develop one by the end of this video. For a long time now, popular culture has depicted clowns as creepy or even evil. From Stephen King's It to The Joker, these famous characters may explain the irrational fear of clowns, at least a little bit. But what if I told you such clowns exist in real life? The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or SIG, has been terrorizing deeds. It's difficult to believe something like this is real and happening right now. This is the complete story of Fabian Morales and his sick clown army. Before we continue, but before we talk about this topic, welcome to 1%. Here we will give you only facts, so if you want more of that, leave a like and subscribe to our channel so that more people can enjoy these. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Today's story begins with a nasty man named Nemesis, also known as El Mincho. He was born in July 1966 and grew up in a poor avocado farming family. By the 1980s, he had illegally immigrated to the United States, but he had committed so many petty crimes that he was quickly deported. Already desensitized to violence and willing to do anything for quick cash, he joined the Millennial Cartel. But the Millennial Cartel was slowly decimating and broken up into tiny fractions. Since in 2009, El Mincho started his own cartel, initially called Los Torcidos, or the Twisted Ones, given what they ended up doing. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel took the fight to the next level, shooting down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade. The DEA is offering $10 million for information leading to the rest of the Mexican drug kingpin, known as El Macho Elemento, which was inspired by the Los Zetas cartel and its militarized structure. He, however, took it to the next level. These gunmen have emerged from the CJNG convoy. The elite group swears allegiance to all Milcha and is armed with assault rifles with grenade launchers attached to the barrels, heavy machine guns, and this gun. This is a sniper rifle with a caliber of .50. It's a powerful weapon that the CJNG loves to use to demonstrate the CJG's rule by kidnapping and imprisoning anyone who gets in their way, whether it's rival gangs, police officers, or civilians. They have no regret for human life and only care about making money and spreading the message that they are now in charge. He also recruits the absolute worst people in Mexico, one of whom is Fabian Morales, aka El Payaso. El Payaso means clown in Spanish, creepily enough. Fabian Morales did work as a clown at the circus when he was younger. Then he traded his clown suit for guns, machetes and knives. But he kept the mask. Fabian Morales used to work for Los Metros cartel, which was a smaller fraction of the gold cartel. Morales quickly rose through the ranks of Los Metros and introduced a new level of psychopathic violence to the gang, with him and his henchmen all wearing the same horrifying clown masks. But the terrifying gang were never given a name. They had incredibly gruesome methods of dealing with rival cartel members in this location. Mencha and his people recruited them. When they saw how they executed their rivals, they beat them in gasoline drums. Elementary witnessed Morales and his gang flipping his victims alive for him, proving that Morales would make a great captain. As I previously stated, El Mincho recruits the very worst people around and quickly grows into the second largest cartel in Mexico, trailing only El Chapo and El Mayo. The notorious Sinaloa cartel is especially interesting because Element's beginnings lie with avocados. The economic power behind the character Jalisco literally started with avocados. So they were farmers. They literally started moving from avocados to chemical precursors to make fruits like admin. It's like, okay, so what the US market like, they there like avocados from Mexico. And they're met from Mexico. Needless to say, it's impossible to rule a cartel this big, single-handed, that the CIG gradually but steadily recruited the entire Los Metros cartel and engulfed them in their gank. Fabian Morales became Element's trusted man. So much so that El Mencho encouraged him and his henchmen to continue wearing the terrifying masks After all, CIG's ultimate goal is to spread as much pain as possible. Morales became one of the commanders of Miguel Fernandez IM2's criminal structure, lieutenant of one of the CIG's regions. With Elemento encouraging his most evil side, Morales quickly became one of Mexico's worst real-life monsters by the 2010s. There was another issue in the 2010s. Cartel members could easily film and upload videos of their most heinous acts to the internet. Sending a clear message, "Do not mess with us," was a message to rival cartels, as well as anyone else watching. There's nothing good that comes out of watching something like this warning. The CJG clowns have kidnapped a rival cartel member, most likely a former member of La Familia. The victim has never been identified, as the video begins with a flipped face. A 30-second video shows a man inches away from death after the evil clowns had already removed all skin from his face and other body parts. But this is not the only gruesome, blood-chilling part of the video. Some of the men kept asking him if he wanted water at one point, but imagine having a conversation without a face. "Yeah, let me rescue." The man wheezes in pain. It's pretty clear he just wants to die, but the clowns keep taunting him, keeping him alive for as long as possible. His raspy voice weak, but this only amuses the clowns. A scene like this in a horror film could give you sleepless nights and possibly even anxiety attacks. So it's difficult to understand how a group of people could do this to another human being inches away and laugh at it. How many things must go wrong? To think Fabian Morales and his henchmen were once babies. Can you imagine the violence they witnessed, or perhaps even suffered, before becoming psychopathic monsters? No animal would do this to another animal, go for food or survival. But the CJG cartel and its horrifying soldiers go for pleasure. These cartels keep it as a means to an end, to secure power, territory, and trafficking routes. The CJG made violence a means to an end. Please don't go looking for this or other videos posted by CJG. It's probably time to ask what the cops are doing about it. If these evil clowns drive their cars and expose their guns in broad daylight, and blatantly post videos of torture and death, how are they not already in prison? Fabian Morales was finally apprehended in October 2019 after the CJG directed a massive ambush on the police, killing 13 foreign officers for the first time. More than a dozen officers and a team member were killed in one day. But this time, the police used the ambush as a perfect context to launch their own operation. So in January 2020, the Michoacan police launched a massive sting operation on the CJG, capturing El Payaso and a few of his henchmen. This was the same sting operation that took the life of La Catrina, a foreign CJG, in 2017, when she was only 19 years old. But she had such a ferocious appetite for blood that she was quickly propelled to hit the squad. Commander Elementary encouraged her drinking and even encouraged her regular assaults on police officers. That is correct. The Michoacan police even had a recording of her voice ordering the hit. There was no way she would get out of this. La Catrina was hitting the jugular. She succumbed to her wounds in the helicopter on the way to the hospital. But Fabian Morales and his fellow evil clowns were arrested and taken to prison. As news of their arrest made headlines throughout Mexico, it became clear that El Bay the Jaguar, a former military man and former member of the CJNG Delta Group, it turns out that El Jaguar was a member of the CJG before El Payaso he joined was still working as a regular circus clown when his brother was killed and maiming for cash. Perhaps Jaguar convinced El Payaso to join the cartel, or perhaps they grew up in an already violent world where death is normalized, and the general mentality is killer be killed. Fabian Morales is incarcerated. It's unlikely he'll ever get parole or even escape because he lacks El Chapo's money and authority. And even El Chapo found the end of his freedom at the ADX Florence in the United States. But El Payaso's legacy is a dark one, and many people look up to him. And some of his evil clowns are still out there inflicting the kind of pain and suffering that he taught them. And today, the CJG is at the top of its Fabian Morales say, "Okay, do one more, or shall we negotiate this?" It's a small victory that Fabian Morales is in prison, perhaps in time. Enough kingpins and psychopathic commanders will be arrested or killed. And as violence decreases, young people will be less tempted to join the ranks of the Mexican cartels. Hey, thanks for watching. What do you think? Will a cartel ever be stopped in Mexico? And what will it take? Let me know in the comments section. And before you go, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more. Until next time.